radio for the masses.
Headline edition, July 8, 1947. The Army Air Forces has announced that a flying disc has been found and is now in the possession of the Army.
If the game is rigged, change the game. Game changer.
I occasionally think how quickly our differences worldwide would vanish if we were facing an alien threat from outside this world.
This is Fade to Black with your host, Jimmy Church, on the Game Changer Radio Network.
Welcome, Fade to Black. How you doing? How you doing? Yeah, today is Tuesday, June 16th. I looked down at the computer to check the date. I did. I can do that. Yeah, let's do this, man. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. What a great week here on Fade to Black. Last night, Alex Stefan was with us live from Romania talking about human potential. Tonight, Clyde Lewis is here from Ground Zero. Tomorrow night, Greg Martins is here. He's a NASA engineer that has gone full woo. Yeah, he has. Yeah, he's NASA's metaphysical guy. Yeah, that's right. And that's Wednesday night. Thursday night, we're going to do an AMA and an AJA. We do that once a month. Ask Me Anything. And it's also our last show for a little bit. I am heading down to Peru this weekend. Very excited about that. So I'll be down in Peru. I'll be live streaming and doing all the stuff that I always do from Peru. So, and posting pictures. So you'll take the journey with me. So that is going on. Ken, I don't know if you guys saw this, but Ken is on a plane. He might have arrived in Peru by now. But you can tell he's in first class, of course it's Ken. And, but anyway, so he sent me this picture. He goes, look at my entertainment on the plane to Peru on the flight. It's Fade to Black. He's got it up on his laptop. He's got his feet kicked back. And, I'm going to see Ken this weekend and of course, do the tour with him and very excited about that. All right. So a couple of things really quick. Clyde is working on dialing into the show. Okay, so he's having some issues. I've been on the phone with him for the last 30 minutes trying to get it worked out. And here's the thing with that. Clyde is a radio professional. He's been at this forever. We have worked together for a very, very long time. He's one of my dearest friends. I've got nothing but mad respect and love for Clyde Lewis. And he's a technical guy, and he's done nothing but been in a radio studio like every night of his adult life. And he understands technology. Something is blocking him. And it's really funny when, he calls, he goes, man, I'm having some issues. I don't understand this. I said, Clyde, if you're having issues, I can't help you. If you can't get it figured out, what do you think? But Clyde's been stirring the pot, man. That's what I just told him too. I said, you've been stirring the pot for how long? You've been poking the bear for how long? And now you're surprised that you've got issues signing in to this show. And Ron Patton, his producer, another dear friend of mine. I love Ron so much. Great guy, smart guy. He signed in. Ron signed in. I see his face. He's like, well, okay, it's pretty easy. But Clyde goes, every time, man, the page goes blank. I don't have an answer for that. I don't know what's going on. So he's going to figure it out. So I told Clyde, I said, look, man, I have confidence in you. You're going to be just fine. I'm going to start the show. You just come on in, and I'll see you when you pop in, and we'll just do it that way. It's not that big of a deal. So there you go. All right. So I'm waiting. I've got it in front of me, and right there. I got the Clyde screen in the green room right there. So when Clyde pops in, we'll bring him straight in. In the meantime, how is everybody doing? I started to mention last night on the show. I did a special taping with Gaia yesterday, doing breaking news, and I think it's out today or tomorrow. But I mentioned this last night. It's been a really crazy week for the disclosure community, for our community. Crazy week. Because if you go back and you really analyze the last 7 days, we had a press conference with David Grush and Burchett and Luna, James Fox and Leslie Kane, of course, David Grush, on the steps of the Capitol in Washington, D.C. That started off the week. Then Maria Casillas, one of the missing scientists, she was a lab executive assistant for Los Alamos. She disappeared a year ago. She's on that list. I think the list is now 13, 14 people. And her body was found. And the circumstances around her, I'm going to circle back to that in just a second. The circumstances around her death are just fuzzy and crazy. So she was found. Then on Friday, the United States government, the Department of War, did their third wave of document and video UFO dumps on the Department of War website. So we had that. And then Friday night, Steven Spielberg's Disclosure Day is released in theaters. And I did go. I went with a group of friends, and it was amazing. But up in 1 week, it was like, how high can we raise the temperature in the room? And wow. Okay. Some of the comments, the feelings, the vibration that is going on right now in this community, we can go back and we can focus on any one of those events. It's really being talked about. Is there a plan? Does this feel a little orchestrated? And if it is, why? Who's the winner here? Who's playing the game? I think that's a very, very important and obvious question to ask. I'm going to back up to David Grush. David Grush, after his original congressional testimony, where he said some incredible things, biologics came into play. He had also said at that time, I will go into any secure facility and I will disclose the names, the dates, the places, and the companies that are backwards engineering this, where the bodies are. It was heavy testimony under oath. He then went on to multiple interviews throughout the media, podcasts, doing stuff with some very, very, very far-reaching voices. If what David Grush is saying is bullshit, then why isn't somebody calling him out on it from the government? The government's just been silent on this. If what he is saying is true, why isn't somebody from the government saying something? Neither scenario has been opposed or confronted by the government. That's a very interesting position to be in. And then after all of that, nobody's saying anything officially from the government. No confrontations, no attorneys, nobody, nothing. Silence. All the way up to Grush is now standing on the steps of the Capitol, repeating what he has been saying over the last year and a half. Unopposed. That is a situation for me, and I think all of us are starting to ask the same thing. Why is that happening? It's such a polarizing thing. There's no gray area in the middle. It's either or. It's true or it's not. And either way, the government, with these very, very, very heavy statements from Grush about ET contact, reverse engineering, NHI, biologics, bodies on ice, right? Pilots. We've got the pilots of the craft. Nobody. He's running completely unopposed. You have to ask yourself why. And then at the same time, with all of this going on, we've got the Department of War releasing files. That is interesting because some of those files are questionable at best. All right. Not the files, the videos. The files themselves are just files, and most of them are historical, and they are official CIA, FBI, Air Force, universities, witness reports and official reports and detailed reports about UFOs and sightings. Okay, so, but the videos, okay, some are pretty good. Some are not. Okay. There's a couple of videos in this wave 3 that were released that to me, what you see is what you see. That part doesn't matter. But to me, and I say it all the time, my eyeballs are what's important here. Chinese lanterns. That's what I see. Okay. Something floating behind the trees in a pair, 25 feet off the, and I'm looking. All right. Now, here's the issue that I have with that. I have like 3. First, if it's Chinese lanterns, we don't have a video or research analyst to pick that apart and to identify what that is. Who's running the show? It doesn't make any sense. Or, number 2, we do have somebody that knows that that's Chinese lanterns in the video. But they gave it to us as unidentified objects, UAPs, UFOs. Is that misinformation? Is that disinformation? Is that misleading the public? Why would you release those as UFO files? Because there are right now on the internet a couple of million videos of Chinese lanterns. Go and look at them. Okay. I see Clyde. Okay, we're getting close. We're getting close, Clyde. Clyde's in. So we have that. And then the third part, as soon as Clyde's here, but he's not here. I don't see his face yet, but he's in. He got in. If we go to point number 3, okay, we're getting close, Clyde. Okay, turn on that video. I think you can hear me. Turn on that video. Come on, Clyde. You can do it. You can do it. It's close. Close. Let's see if we've got his audio. Let's see. Let's see. Yeah, apparently we have his audio. Okay. All right. Okay. We're close. Clyde, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I just need your video, man. Bring your video up.
Yeah, it won't let me. Oh, there it is.
Oh, are
there I am.
Clyde,
I'm in my
friggin'
angel suit. You got me in my angel suit.
dude, I love that. Hey, send me one and sign it, will you?
An angel suit.
Oh man.
You don't remember,
Why-
you don't know how many suspended accounts I just went through to get this here. So I got it. No problem.
Clyde, first off, you know I love you and I've got mad respect for you, and I know that it's mutual. We don't need to go there. Let's get the bro love out of the way. There's no way. Oh yeah, there you go, Clyde. Okay.
Better?
Yeah, that's better. Yeah,
Yeah.
perfect.
Good.
Okay, so I told Clyde a few minutes ago. I said, yeah, pull it up on your shoulder. Pull it up over your shoulder. Yeah, that's too much info. Is that a barcode?
Yes, it is.
I told
This
Clyde
is another
earlier. I
side
said,
of me you don't see. Thank you, Jimmy.
yeah. I said to Clyde, I go, dude, there is no way technology is gonna keep you from doing this. So I'm gonna start the show, and I'll see you when you get here. And I knew. So
Gosh, I mean, you have more faith in me than I did. I was sitting there going, "Oh my gosh, oh my god!" Finally, I'm going, "I made it! Yes!" So I'm here.
yeah, I did. I said to Clyde, I go, dude, you're on some kind of blacklist.
Oh, I am. They just disabled my Google account trying to get into to get you.
Yeah.
So I have to reinstall it when I get out there. So
Okay,
anyway.
so Clyde, you know, we talk all the time, but it's great to have you here. And there's so much drama that is going on, especially in the last 7 days with the UFO community. And we'll circle back to all of that.
Right.
But no, I've got to ask you the obvious thing, man. How the heck are you? How you doing?
I'm frustrated. I'm frustrated because there are a few things that need to be done with me before I can get released into the world, and they're dragging their feet. And I'm like thinking to myself, I don't need this. And I'm trying to talk to whoever I can to get me out. But I've been here long enough. I mean, 6 months being out of commission is a long time.
Yeah.
There are just a few, I guess you could say, examinations that go through trial runs. I mean, I've already passed all of my physical therapy with flying colors. That means I can walk again, hopefully without falling over. And I got some balance issues I got to deal with. Maybe I'll have to walk with a cane. Depends. I got into this room without a cane, but we'll see.
Mhm.
I have to get my teeth worked on because after Christmas, I had some problems with my teeth. I mean, that's what happens when your kidneys go out. Everything shuts down. And so I took a beating before I got to where I am now. And right now I'm fine, except for a few things that need to be tweaked. And I should be out of here soon. I'm hoping that at least if they don't want to let me go here, they put me in some sort of facility around the 4th of July. That would be great. But if I can avoid the facility, I have a group of guys that have a apartment that's adjacent to a recording studio that I'll be able to move into and hopefully just be right there. Like you have your guitars and everything.
Yeah.
They're a bunch of metalheads, so it would work out for me quite nicely because I mean I don't mind metalheads. I love them, so we can work together. And
We love our
together.
metal. Oh, Amy, and I see each other all the time, and she sends her love. and Amy Christine, and
Yeah. Amy,
she's
I got to tell you about Amy. Amy is the most beautiful psychic I've ever met.
incredible,
Uh,
incredible,
she,
inside and out, inside and out,
well,
Clyde.
I know her. I know her from a long time ago, and she used to work at a market I'd frequent. And she served me coffee, but she was always a delight to talk to. And those eyes just knock you off your butt. She's so pretty. And
She's
then I
so
remember
pretty.
one day I was walking down Portland around the park. And I see this woman with short hair. She comes up to me, gives me a hug and a kiss. I'm going, oh my God. And she's magical, man. She's just a magical woman. If you're not getting readings from her, you haven't gotten a reading yet. And
I
I
know.
fully endorse her, by the way. Fully
Me
endorse
too.
her.
You know what?
Yeah.
I'm scared. I'm scared of Amy. I don't
You
want a
are?
reading. Yeah. She's one
I'm
of my
scared of her, but
best
not for the
friends.
reasons you may be scared of her. I'm scared of her because she's powerful as hell, and you know
She's
she is.
powerful. Yes,
Yes.
and she's Clyde. She's one of my dearest friends. We see each other at least once or twice a week.
Yeah.
We
You're
just
lucky.
saw Disclosure Day together. We went to Egypt together.
Oh
And
wow.
yeah. And so I love her to death, but she is such a powerful psychic. So she I don't want to know. I just don't want to know. And I told her we were out to dinner last week, and she goes, "Why haven't you gotten a reading for me?" I said, "Because it will ruin our friendship. You will
It
freak
might.
me out. You
It
will
might.
freak me out. So let's
It
just
might.
stay friends and let's keep that stuff. Let's keep that
Well,
stuff separate."
that's another powerful thing that she has is mystery. I mean,
Yes.
one of the things about her is that she is so mysterious. It's almost like she's from another planet, and she has that vibe that she was sent here by angels or by something, and it's an experience, a unique experience. If you don't want to get a reading, just hire her for the experience.
I
She will blow your mind
know.
with the
For
words she
sure.
says, and she's
She's
great.
great. She's
Yeah,
great. And her partner Romeo is equally as strong.
yeah,
He has he's a therapist, a hypnotist, and a healer, and he's so much fun too as well. And the two of them together, it's pretty powerful. It's a
yeah.
power couple. Anyway, she sends her love.
Wow.
And you have to, I don't know um how you must be itching to get back into the studio. It's one thing
Yes.
to do this,
Yes.
but you and I are both radio guys,
Yeah.
and when I'm away and I'm out, and I travel a lot, I cannot wait to get
Yeah.
back into my studio. So you must be just, you spent the last 40 years behind the mic.
Yeah, it's so weird because lately there have been some news stories that I've been stumbling upon and reading about, some that aren't even in the mainstream that I've read about that aren't really conspiracy theory, but they're certainly not being reported because of the subject matter. And it's funny because I mean I have a lot to say about Disclosure Day, and I have a lot to say about this whole deception thing that they talk about. But one of the things I've noticed too is the more things change, the more they stay the same. And there's another, and I remember I was at Contact in the Desert. First time I went, I was there and I did a standing room only seminar gig with Brad Olson. And while we were there, I was talking about something called Clade X, which was an unknown disease that was being used as a gain of function that we'd eventually find ourselves in a pandemic. Well, it happened. Well, I'm stumbling upon something else now that I am concerned about, and it's not getting a lot of attention. But have you ever heard of Alpha Gal? Alpha
No.
Gal? Oh, wow, there's a good one. Alpha Gal is this disease you can get from ticks, and it'll make you allergic to meat, and you can be deathly ill from eating meat if you get Alpha Gal.
That would
And
suck in my life. Oh
yeah,
man.
and
Oh, ooh, ooh, ooh,
there is
ooh.
the reports going around from farmers. They're reporting that on their farms, they're now finding boxes, and in those boxes are ticks, and those ticks are carrying alpha gal.
Yeah, okay. As crazy as that is, and we're on limited time,
Okay.
I'm going to trade. Thank you for that gift. Now I'm going to give you a gift.
Okay.
Are you ready?
Yeah.
God, this is such a Clyde Lewis story. The first AI designed and created vaccine
Oh, no.
just completed human trials.
Wow.
Never in history. Now, here's the thing with this, Clyde. And you know what it's for?
What's it for?
To prevent all future pandemics.
The universal vaccine. That was something that Bill Gates talked about.
Right. Well, hold on. It gets even better. All vaccines, this is the scientific method, as you know, you need the thing that you're going to attack. You design the vaccine around that, right? Okay. And then you move forward. This has been designed by AI without any known pathogen to attack. How crazy is that? And AI says that they have designed this to modify itself, the vaccine, and adapt to anything. And it just went through human trials. Now,
You know what else that's called? Cancer.
yeah.
Hate to
How
say it, but
crazy.
I guess maybe they invented digital cancer.
Right. How nuts is that? And what human signed up for that trial?
I don't know, man.
Oh man. So
Well,
yeah,
and
we
don't have to. I mean, does this eliminate cows from the matrix here? Because you need to have bovine. What do they call it? Some bovine boosters in your vaccine to make them work. That's why they call it a vaccine. Means vaca, cow.
Yeah,
So
yes, and they
Yeah.
mentioned that. And you know what else they mentioned in the press
What?
release? That they bypassed all animal testing and went straight to humans. They
Oh, my
didn't test
God.
this in mice. They didn't test this in anything. They just went straight to human trials. 39 humans. This is in Great Britain at Cambridge. And the trials are completed. The next wave with 200 humans starts next month. Now, with all of the controversy behind, look, I don't want to get the show shut down, and talk vaccines. I don't do that stuff, but I
Right.
will do conspiracies, and I do
Right.
talk about AI a lot.
Right.
And one of the things that scares me is not having guardrails on AI and just letting it do its thing. And
Right.
of all the things we're going to cut it loose on, Clyde, vaccine design.
As I said, that is a digital cancer.
Yeah.
It's basically introducing into our genome or germline a form of cancer. It was like in the X-Files, you know, how they had the black cancer, and anyone who got it became immune to extraterrestrials. Or it was the extraterrestrial design, the AI design they put into people for experiment. Project Purity, if you remember, that's what it was. Is they were going in and they were looking over the black oil to figure out if there were components within black oil that could be used as sort of a cancer to eliminate other diseases. And so they're developing this lab cancer. It looks like this digital.
Yeah, scary.
Yeah.
Scary. And so I want to ask you about the last 7 days.
Yeah.
Because Clyde, this is where I insert a joke. You've got a lot of time to read the bullshit on the internet now. So let's
It makes me sad. Actually, I get angry when I read it.
I know.
Really do.
So the last 7 days, we had the David Grush press conference on the Capitol steps.
Yeah.
A couple of days later, Maria Casillas, one of the missing scientists for the last year, her body was found in New Mexico with a gun next to it.
Yeah.
Right after that, on Friday, we got the third wave of UFO files from the Department of War. And then, of course, Friday night, we've got Steven Spielberg and Disclosure Day in that premiere. Coincidence that all of this happened in 1 week?
Yeah, it's amazing the way it's all being timed, and it's amazing to me too. I mean, you said you saw it, right?
I did. I saw it. I saw
Right.
it with Amy. I went with Amy.
It's not groundbreaking by any stretch of the imagination. Not a bad movie either. You know what's really bad about that movie is I sat through it and I left disappointed, but now I've been thinking about it. I want to go back.
It's
I
a
have to
good
go
movie.
back and see it again. What's that?
It's a good movie.
Yeah,
It's
it's a
a
good
great
movie in a
story.
sense that it lingers with you, and you sit there and you say, "Well, that's not a good Spielberg movie," and it's not a good Spielberg movie. It's not, but it's a good movie. And the trouble with it is that I came back. I saw it the day before it went into theaters. I
Mhm.
came back to the room and I thought, "Wait a minute," and I had to go back and remember all of my uh, Jewish symbolism background and all the other stuff that he threw in there. That is, he's really pointing out the fact that he is somehow equating the ancient gods of the Old Testament to aliens. And he's
There,
thinking that that's going to be disclosures, that we're going to find out that the gods of the Old Testament were really aliens.
right. Now, there's a couple of Easter eggs in the movie, and one of them was okay. The out of the MJ12 documents, Clyde, that we're all too familiar with,
Yeah.
the only document in that entire pile of stuff that all of the experts and skeptics have agreed that is authentic is the Cutler Twining memo.
Oh,
All
yeah.
right.
Uh-huh. Yeah,
Right.
Cutler
Okay.
Twining.
We're all familiar with that. Nathan Twining being the head of the Air Force at that time. Okay. So that's the one authentic document. So check this out. When you watch the movie again, you'll catch this. Great Easter egg. So they're in that big control room and they're walking, and there's all these pictures on the wall on this monitor, and they're walking through and they're pointing, yes. Oh, yeah. It's Nathan Twining. And it was a black guy, but he goes, Nathan Twining. That's a pretty cool Easter egg, to plot in there.
Yeah.
You have to be on the inside, somebody like you and I that had been researching this for a long time to know who Nathan Twining is.
Right.
But it was a pretty good little nod, right, from Spielberg to have that in the script. And that's why I want to go back and check the movie out again, because there's a lot in there like that.
Yeah, I was going to tell you, I was very surprised because, I mean, Spielberg could have went for the cliche, and eventually there were a few in there that were cliche, but not entirely. It was good to see how people would react to some of the incidences that happened in the history of ufology. I was impressed with the Nixon footage.
Wasn't that great?
Nobody refers to that story.
Yeah.
I've been doing this now for, like you say, 30, 40 years.
Yeah.
And no one, and I'd love to take the moment and revisit that story. I mean, everybody involved is dead, obviously. I know that they interviewed the woman that played Alice, and she said that it really, really threw Jackie Gleason for a loop when he found that there were aliens, and then Nixon showed those aliens to him.
Did you notice that that they didn't say Jackie Gleason by name?
Yeah, I noticed that. Why didn't they say Jackie Gleason?
I don't know. He's dead.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe the estate didn't want that to be brought up again. But I don't know.
I don't know. Yeah.
Funny 50s comedian. I said, well, here's Nixon talking to a funny 50s comedian, and I'm going, wait a minute, that's Jackie Gleason. And it's so well done. They're going, why didn't they just say Jackie Gleason?
Yeah,
so well done.
That stuck out to me. I caught it immediately. I turned to my friend Bree, who was sitting next to me in the theater with Amy and Romeo.
Yeah.
And so when it's the second they showed Nixon, I leaned over to her and I go, that's Nixon with Jackie Gleason.
Yeah.
Right. I'm calling it ahead. Right. And then they go with some 1950s comedian. And she goes, are you sure that's Gleason? She says to me, I said, yes. We know this story.
And that's the thing that's so I mean, there were so many moments in that movie.
Are we giving away too much for the people that
that you remember them. You're like going, God, that was a good moment. And you're like, wait a minute, I did like the movie. I liked it a lot.
Are we giving away too many spoilers?
I don't know. I don't know if that's a spoiler. I mean, it's like saying, if you go see a movie about Jesus, you say he dies in the end, and everybody, spoiler alert. But I mean, well, I just think that hats go off to Spielberg for not overlooking some of the. I was hoping for Betty and Barney Hill. He could have gone there.
They
I
did
know the Obamas.
Kecksburg.
I
They
know the
did Kecks.
Obamas are doing a movie about it. I don't know if
He
you knew
did
that.
mention Kecksburg, and I thought
Yes,
was
that
an
was another
interesting.
thing I thought was weird. Is Kecksburg was also mentioned.
Yeah,
These are UFO stories that the mainstream don't know about all that much.
yeah,
They
yeah,
don't know
yeah.
about the Jackie Gleason incident. They don't know about Kecksburg. Um, you know, and that I thought was very courageous of him. I think to go in those spots because
What do
then
you
people are going to
think?
go home and they're going to read about him. So
Yeah, what do you think about experiencers that have been dealing with this, for decades? The ridicule, the teasing, the tinfoil hat, can't talk about it, all that. But then they go and see this film and they
yeah,
hear experiencers mentioned in the film a few times.
yeah.
Do you think that they could be triggered?
In that movie,
Yeah, from the movie, those emotions coming out of them.
well,
Because it was well written in that respect. It was focused on the experiencers.
well, Strieber's book triggered a lot of people. And the image on Strieber's book, a lot of people remember the image of the alien based on that book and were triggered.
Triggered me.
I wouldn't be too surprised if this movie triggers some feelings because it's not handled in a cartoon way. It's handled very seriously, and that may be to the detriment of the film, but maybe not. Maybe people who are experiencers will sit there and say, "Well, that's exactly the way I've had my experience." One thing that I thought was interesting too is that Spielberg threw in some occult symbolism with the animals. It really made me go, why did he do that? I don't know if you've heard of the term psychopomp.
Well,
But
there's that. No, actually, this is a really good point. Mike Clellan wrote that excellent book, The Messengers,
yeah,
about the blockages, the screen memories that are inserted
yeah,
to cover up contact.
yeah.
And a lot of people talk about deer being
Owl.
that, owls doing that. And so
Cardinals. Yeah, I forgot about the red cardinals.
yes,
They're another symbol of it's to symbol a pre-death experience. That's what a psychopomp is. It's supposed to guide you into the other world.
right.
Not just through death, but I mean, you have the only real psychopomp that's a death psychopomp would probably be Chiron, the ferryman that you hear about in mythology.
Right.
But no, the deer in the cardinal was right on. I thought. I mean, I
Yeah,
saw
right
it going.
on.
Is he messing with psychopomps? There are a lot of things I talk about on my show that was in that movie, and I was very surprised. He was working in remote viewing. Did you notice that?
What's that?
He was working in remote viewing.
Oh, yes.
But what the people don't know is and this is what it is. I'll explain it to people. What they don't understand is that the thing that they were using to remote view with is a representation of Aaron's staff. Because
Really?
when Aaron would talk to the Ark of the Covenant, he
Uh-huh.
would put that staff ahead of him, and the staff would glow in his hands, and he would speak to the Ark of the Covenant, and the voice of God, or whoever it was, would come back at him and speak back. He also used that staff to give to Moses when he went against the Pharaoh. So that whole magical thing between Moses and Pharaoh and Aaron and everything. And in the end, Aaron said, as divine nature, to feed those who were in the congregation, the staff was glowing and was on fire, and then it sprouted almonds, and everyone got to partake of the almonds. And I just thought it was an interesting story, but he doesn't go into tell about Adam's staff or Adam's rod, but that's exactly what it is. It's the same thing. It was a thing of sticks that Aaron had selected so they could use them to communicate with the Ark of the Covenant.
What do you think's going on, Clyde? I'm going to pick your brain. I love the way you think. What's going on with these missing scientists? What's your take? And just so you know, 2 of them right next to my house. I mean, dude, down the street. How crazy is that? So what's your take? What do you think's going on?
Let's go back in history. After Oppenheimer set off the bomb, did you ever hear the brain drain?
Mm-hmm.
They wiped out a number of scientists, disappeared. They were wiped out or killed. All had knowledge of the nuclear bomb.
That's right.
And there was another thing that they had knowledge of, and that was the Vril and the V2 rocket, the Nazi deals that were going to be made with the enemy in order to get on the moon. So that could be what's going on here, is that you have a big story about disclosure. You have all of these documents coming out, and you have all these scientists that are excited that want to open up and talk about it, and yet you have that one element that I think is probably the most destructive element, and that is the idea that this disclosure is the deception. I think that's a very dangerous thing to be doing, to be preaching that, because people will lose their minds and start killing and doing all kinds of crazy things when, maybe a biological entity will be discovered on Mars, and to have somebody sitting in a pew saying that Satan is ludicrous. It's like flat earth theory. It doesn't make any sense to me, especially when I know what I know about the Bible, and I know what I know about some of these videos that have been released, showing different spaceships that are not necessarily saucers. They have some that don't look like saucers. They look like Christmas tree ornaments, or they look like what they call the ophanim, which are these circles within circles. They call them the thrones of the angels. And that's one of the things about Spielberg and what he did with Disclosure Day. He uses an eye in a saucer on the poster to promote it. And what he's truly doing is he's showing an ophanim, which is it's called the throne of the angels. And it's what Ezekiel saw, what many other people saw in the Old Testament, which was this gyroscope looking thing that had eyes on it, and that the occupants had huge eyes as well, and all things could be seen from this thing. So they're pushing the idea of the holy ophanim, which is right up there with the Vimanas and the Bergstrom and all these other things, all these things that Oppenheimer talked about, all these things that all these scientists are talking about. And so we're getting into a little bit of a fringe religious symbolism that nobody knows about. If they knew about it, they look at that movie a little bit more, use it more discretionary than just writing it off as some science fiction film. It has a lot of really ancient ritualistic symbolism in it that if people knew it, they'd be terrified.
Is it difficult for people to say that? Is it okay for people to say that it's now beyond coincidence that everything here does to be connected, and we need to pay attention to this without sounding like what they would term as a crazy conspiracy theorist and
well,
putting labels?
I can change your attitude about my experience by saying one word. Angels came to me at night and they ministered to me.
Exactly.
Everybody go, oh, how sweet you are.
That's
I
okay.
Bet you pray to God every night. You're faithful to God. Or I say, well, these 2 aliens came in my room and they basically raped me in my sleep.
Right.
And, that's Satan. It's the same story, except the nuance is different. It's like putting a costume on God or putting a costume on angels and saying, that's what they did in the Renaissance. Angels didn't have wings. They put wings on them to signify flight. But if you want to get really blown out of your mind right now, Jimmy, look up ophanim. Ophanim, and look at the pictures of what an ophanim looks like. That's what they described angels looking like back in the times of the Old Testament. And you're not going to believe what it looked like. It's called an ophanim.
Oh, well, I have posted this picture so many times. Here's this. Okay. When we're dealing with an ophanim, and then you look at directly the movie Contact.
Yeah.
What was that? That was an ophanim.
That was an ophanim, yeah. It was.
Yeah. You know what I mean? This is what physics talks about. And then you look at gyroscopes and you look at the technical and the mechanical sides of this. Well, when you're going back to the Old Testament, When we're
Yep.
dealing with stories and scripture that is written 1000 BC, they don't have that reference point.
What
So
was,
what they
I
were
mean, you
seeing
bring up
was
Contact. You bring up Contact. What was the theme of Contact? What was the basic storyline of Contact? Whether or not we can differentiate between an alien abduction and a spiritual experience. Because remember, when she went to the other side, she talked with her father.
Yeah.
And she
And
said,
then
he's
they,
very real, but he's dead. So she had this near-death experience in
right.
an ophanum that was spinning around, creating
That's
enough
right.
energy to create a wormhole for her to go through. And see, and that's what they're doing, is they're revealing these secrets to us little by little in these movies that have to do with contact. And it was like Jacques Vallée once said, he said, pretty soon nobody's going to be able to differentiate the experience of either being abducted or having an out-of-body or near-death experience, because they're one and the same in some regards. They're the same
Consciousness
experience,
is
except that,
consciousness. Yeah.
what's that?
Consciousness is consciousness.
Yes.
And how did they discredit her in Contact, Matthew McConaughey? With religion.
With religion, yeah. So, and here's the thing too: when I hear all these preachers saying the great deception, when they find out that aliens exist, religion is going to go away, I call BS on that. You know why? Christianity's been around for 2,000 years, and it's had attackers, destroyers, all kinds of people, and it's still around. So I would say that no alien ship or alien reveal is going to ruin that. I think that if anything, they can coexist. If anything, they can coexist. Here's the thing. I'd be perfectly comfortable with hearing that my Old Testament gods were aliens, because then they don't touch the New Testament and I still have Jesus to save me. Okay? That's the bottom line, is that Jesus saving you is why you're a Christian. The Old Testament's a history, and believe me, it is loaded with mad gods. It's loaded with titans coming down and having sex with women in Genesis 6. It has wheels within wheels with Ezekiel. It has all these different pillars of light, chariots of fire, fingers of God coming down and touching things. Come on, that sounds so alien. I don't know if anyone could deny that.
There is one of my favorite pharaohs is a pharaoh named Sennacherib. And what happened there, Clyde?
My phone fell. Okay, I'm gonna get a good place.
I don't want to lose you. I don't want to lose you,
Oh,
Clyde.
you're fine. Okay.
I miss you too much. We can't do this. You can't do this to me.
All
Is Sennacherib. And there is a story, a papyrus that is in the Berlin Museum.
Right.
Written, are you ready? 5,000 years ago. Okay? 5,000, 3,000 BC, 2,700 BC. Before the Great Pyramid was built was when this papyrus was written. And in this papyrus, there's a story. And the story goes, Sennacherib says, I was bored. I didn't have anything to do, and I was depressed. So my viceroy came to me and said, Sennacherib, I'm going to get a bunch of ladies together, and they are going to row a boat for you up and down the Nile. Go take a break. As a matter of fact, and I'm not making this up, Clyde, it says, I will make sure that they are wearing fishnet dresses. Okay, that is in the papyrus.
Yeah.
Fishnet dresses. Okay, so Sennacherib, the pharaoh, and God jumps on this boat with his fishnet women, right, from the court, and they're going up and down the Nile. One of the women has a necklace on.
Yeah.
It falls off into the Nile River, and she starts crying. This is Sennacherib telling the story. And Sennacherib says, why are you crying? She goes, my necklace, it fell in. He goes, I'm serious. This is word for word. It sounds so modern, but I'm not speaking in metaphor here. He goes, don't worry about it. I'm the pharaoh. I'll have the royal jeweler make you a new necklace. She goes, no, that was a gift. I want that necklace. He goes, all right, stop the boat. Pull the boat over. Sennacherib gets off the boat and gets his magician to come on the boat, go back to where the necklace fell in the Nile, and guess what the magician does?
What?
He parts the Nile.
Oh, wow.
Opens the Nile up, parts it. The boat is sitting on the bottom of the Nile. The river walls are next to the boat. The woman looks down and sees her necklace. She gets the necklace and puts it on and stops crying. The magician says, poof, the Nile comes back together. Now, true story, don't care. It's the same story with Moses, isn't it?
Yeah. Yes,
And
it is.
so we really have to stop and analyze these things when we're talking about Ezekiel's wheel and lights in the sky and all of these things where everybody wants to say, well, no, they're speaking, they're representing, you can't take it literally. Well, these stories are just repeated. And the one with Moses and the one with Sennacherib are nearly 2,000 years apart.
Right.
Right?
Right.
I find that incredible. That's why I love history so much.
Well, magic is universal. Miracles are universal. And one of the problems we're having today is we're deciding that miracles don't happen. So therefore, everything has to be rigid. So if aliens come on the scene, they're not miracles, they're demons.
Right.
Okay.
They want it both ways, don't they? They want it both ways.
They can have it both ways because, they want to attribute all miracles to devils rather than attributing miracles to God. And that's what really bothers me is that if they're already saying that a bright light coming down with aliens on board is satanic, then what if there's a miracle from God? And then we lose the opportunity to meet up with our space brothers. I mean, there's the Elohim, the Anakim, the Nephilim, all these different beings who were talked about in the Bible. How do they resolve those beings that come from heaven? How do we resolve the idea that when we say we die, we go back up into the presence of God, which is in the heavens? Why is heaven so important? Why is space so important? It's because this is where we're from, and this is where we've landed, and this is where we go back. We go back to space and sky. And it's because that is where God lives. And if God doesn't live on the planet, he's what? He's an extraterrestrial. And therefore, there's nothing wrong with putting another costume on God. God is just a mystery that people throw a blanket on and say, oh, there it is. There it is. Okay, I can put an alien costume on God. There it is. I can put a Santa suit on God. There it is. I think people need to grow up and realize that the Hallmark card version of everything has got to go, and that's the only way we're going to evolve is realize that God is far more complex than any Renaissance painting depicts him.
When somebody comes at me and goes, man, you think there are no psy-ops, man. There's the government is. I'm like, have you heard of religion? Right?
That's right. Right.
Oh man.
And see, and I think that this whole idea and concept of aliens being a deception or that they're demons, I think is a psy-op. Because when it's all over with, all those people who are saying that they're demons and devils and whatever are shooting themselves in the foot, because what they're basically saying is there's no way there can be anything outside this realm of this existence that cannot be fortuitous or benevolent. It has to always be malevolent and satanic. And this is where I think we're shooting ourselves in the foot. It's not good.
Yeah. And the original intent of lying, and I'm talking about, let's go back 5,000 years, 4,000 years. The original intent of lying to the masses was just to keep people alive.
Yes.
You have to have children. We have to eat clean, all of this. So that was it. And I get that, don't eat this because God says don't eat it when they know it's going to make you sick, but you can't say that 5,000. Nobody has a concept of that. Right. So you say, God says don't drink this. God says don't eat this. God says don't go over there. God, and that they understood. Well, you know what? The leaders of those little towns and villages figured out pretty quickly. this lying shit is pretty effective.
Mhm.
Right. And it's
Mhm.
been that way to control ever since, Clyde. This
Right.
is nothing new, is it?
No, it's the story is told several times and several times and several times. And we keep telling the story because we fear that the story will go away. And here's the truth. Do you know how to kill a god, Jimmy?
I think I'm about to find out.
I know how to kill God. You ignore him.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Take that a step further.
Okay.
Take it a step further.
You ignore him and you bury him and you replace him.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. So if we're already saying that these things are trying to substitute God, then we're already planning for that to happen.
Right.
Rather than saying, no, I know the difference between my God,
Right.
Jesus Christ, and everything else, you're
Right.
saying, no, these are going to replace the gods, and that's a satanic deception. It will only replace the gods if you allow it to. If you
Wow,
allow it
that's
to, then
strong.
yeah, you're going to see God being ignored and die. He's going to be like Zeus. He's going to be like Jupiter. He's going to be like the Roman gods and the Greek gods, all going to be ignored for a new set of gods. And that happens over time.
So the gods are sitting up in the clouds, looking down. So what happened to you? Man,
Yeah, I got ignored.
they forgot about me. Right?
Yeah, I forgot about
I got
me.
buried in the headlines.
Yeah.
I've been ignored. So
Yeah.
what are you going to do? Nothing. What can I do?
Nothing. I'm on vacation. They don't know
I'm
me
on
anymore.
vacation.
I'm thinking about making an appearance, though. I'll be touring with Styx, the new bats coming up. Tommy Shaw and I have a ripping version of Times on My Hands. Mr.
Come sail
Roboto.
away.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got a ripping version of Come Sail Away. Oh, man. I miss you,
Gathering of
Clyde.
Angels. That's the perfect song. Come Sail Away.
It
It's
is.
about
And
a guy who thinks he's being taken up by angels. Turns out they're aliens.
they're aliens. So
Yeah.
when that came out, you and I are the same age.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
we both know when that album came out, and it changed things. It sounded so much like it was from the future to me. It was such a great album. Anyway, I'm on had a Ghetto Blaster. This is 19. When did that come out? 77, 78.
Yeah.
Like right in there. And friend turns to me, Clyde, and goes, "You know what that song's about?" And I'm like, "Yeah, the ocean." He goes, "No,
Well,
man, it's about aliens." I was like, "What?" And then I really listened to it. That was a game changer for me. That was
yeah. Well, what about Love Comes Waltzing In by 78
Love
Artists?
Comes Walking In. Yeah, that Van Halen. Yeah, straight up.
Contact is all it takes.
Yep.
I Ran by Flock of Seagulls. I saw her in a beam of light come shining down on you, and I ran so far away I couldn't get away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, do you think we're going to take a break here in 1 minute,
right.
and then we'll be right back? But do you think that because you're an artist, you're a creative mind, that you're so used to deep meditation and going where you need to go to create, right? Whatever it is, writing, that zone, that creative zone, that opens up the mind to contact and other realities, and they're just writing about what they know.
Yeah, there are times when I've worked on shows, and I felt as though that something had me writing. That's automatic writing, where something takes over me, and I'm like, everything's fitting perfectly.
Right.
Where, I didn't overlook anything. Everything is like succinctly perfect and synchronized so well that I'm like going, wow, I can't believe I wrote that, or I can't believe that I read that, or I can't believe I'm referencing this. I can't believe I found the right grimoire writing about the right witch or magician or whatever. I mean, and same with this new inspiration they're pushing with Disclosure Day. They're trying to now bridge the gap between the religious sectors and scientists, and that's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking more or less that what this whole thing is, this disclosure thing, is science trying to explain religion. They do that with all kinds of other things too, like physics. Sometimes they have the physics that they can be bent to fit a god or bent to fit anything, and they're doing it because it's just our passion. We want to find intelligent design in everything we see. And that includes maybe, alien beings or anthropomorphic and a lot like us. Who knows?
We're going to take our break here. I just wanted to tell you, George Norrie sends his best. And I was just with George a couple of months ago, and we had a pretty big crowd, right? And George turned to me. We both had microphones. We're doing our thing, and he goes, "Jimmy, oh, hold on, Jimmy, how's Clyde?" And so I said hello for you to everybody. But
did you tell
George,
him? Did you tell him that I have more love for him than he really knows?
Yeah, he knows that. He knows that, and truly, we're going to take our break right here. But one of George's favorite things, George and I talk a lot. We're friends. We worked together for a long time.
Yeah,
but it just seems that when George and I are in private time, nobody else around, it'll be, so Jimmy, this, that, what's going on, and George, how you doing? And it always swings back to, how's Clyde? And so I just want you to know that. Okay, let's take our break right here. Our guest,
go ahead. That's good.
Our guest tonight, the one and only Clyde Lewis. It's Ground Zero on Fade to Black. Clyde, you stay right there. I am your host, Jimmy Church. We'll be right back after this short break. Stay with us. Subscribe to our YouTube channel to get your alerts and access to over 2,000 videos. Click that subscribe button right now.
Contact the Desert is back. Come see a legendary lineup of iconic speakers, including George Knapp, Jeremy Corbell, Daniel Sheehan, George Norrie, Whitley Strieber, Chris Ramsey, Dr. Diane Hennessy Powell, and many more. Join us in beautiful Indian Wells, California, May 28th through June 1st, as we explore infinite realms. Get your tickets now at contactinthedesert.com.
I'm heading back to the Midwest, the Contact Modalities Expo, May 1st through the 3rd, 2026, in Delavan, Wisconsin, at the Lake Resort. It is beautiful. This is a great conference right in the heart of the Midwest, where I'm from. I'll see you there. Just go to Contact Modalities Expo, that's XPO.com. I will be hosting and once again at Contact in the Desert. That's May 28th through June 1st, 2026, the largest UFO conference in the world. Come and hang out with us June 23rd through July 1st. Tickets and everything else that you need is at contactinthedesert.com. Want to change your life? Want that paradigm shift? Then visit Peru with Brian Forrester and myself for the Inca Celebration of the Sun, June 23rd through July 1st, 2026. A full 10 days of visiting the country, all of the amazing sights, and of course, the celebration of winter solstice. It's all simple to do. Go to hiddenincatours.com. Come join us for the Monty Python Scotland Tour, August 1st through the 9th, 2026. This is a once-in-a-lifetime event where you get to go to the castles from Monty Python and the Holy Grail. August 1st through the 9th, 2026. Just visit HaleyARamsey.com. Watch Into the Vortex on Gaia TV. It's Fade to Black for the screen. Simple to do. Go to Gaia.com, search Jimmy Church, or click on the link below. Follow Fade to Black on Twitter at JChurchRadio. Get all of the show updates every single day. It's now called X, but who cares?
Go to jimmychurchradio.com and become a Fadernaut. Get a membership. That's right. Everything is commercial free. You have access to downloads, and you get to call yourself a Fadernaut. River Moon Coffee, makers of the Fade to Black blend. Truly the best coffee on planet Earth. Just visit rivermoonwellness.com or their Amazon store. It's all simple to do. You can check out the Fade to Black blend, the Game Changer blend, or any of their Black Moon Wellness products. It's the only coffee I drink. It is the best, and it's Doc. Again, rivermoonwellness.com.
All right. Welcome back. Fade to Black. I am your host, Jimmy Church. Tonight, the one and only Clyde Lewis is with us from the hospital, man. We got the full, we've got Clyde in a gown, and I'm going to get one day. I wanted to share this story. Clyde's listening to me from the back room. I'm going to briefly, when Clyde and I doing radio together, when I was on Coast, next door to the Coast studio, well, it's a lot of studios on this floor, but next door to the Coast studio is another studio. And Clyde's feed would come out for distribution at Coast. On the network, on Premiere. And we ran the same studio clock. So I would mess with Clyde. And so I would be in the studio, and as soon as we hit commercial break, I knew that Clyde was now going on commercial break. So I would walk out of the Coast studio, go into the studio next door. This is what is going on at Coast to Coast. I go into the studio and I'm listening, and Clyde just hits his commercial break. We're on the same clock, and I call him on the phone, and he'll pick up because it's me. Jimmy, what's up? Nothing. What are you doing? I'm on the air. Well, so am I. I know. Church, I'm working. I know. What's going on? Nothing. Just calling to say hi. Church. I'm going back to work. Click. Those were the days, Clyde. That was some fun shit, wasn't it?
Oh my God. I remember when you used to do that. Jimmy, what's up, man? What are you doing to me? Why are you doing this to me? Please, Jimmy, why do this to me, Jimmy?
That's what we're really good friends, and just knowing that I was just under your skin just a little bit, it just brought me so much joy, Clyde. And
what got us together was your wonderful research into that Malibu. I was impressed. I was like, because. Before I met all the good people that are in this whole menagerie of UFO people, I was impressed with what I saw. And I'm going, this guy is amazing. So I had to call you.
You did. Yeah.
I called you straight up. I said, dude, this is the most amazing investigation I have ever. I got to interview you.
Yeah,
and
that's
you
right.
Said that you think it's a good idea? I mean, we're competitors. I said, you're not competing with me, man. Not when you do shit like this.
Well, and back in the day, you and I used to have a lot of fun where we would simulcast together. We did shows together. We were running on the same studio clock, taking the same breaks, and we're like, that's the other thing. Clyde, let me ask you about this.
Sure.
The community loves dissension amongst the troops.
Yeah.
They feed off of that.
Yeah.
And they don't get that with you and I.
No, I try to keep everything copacetic. I mean, there's a lot of controversial stuff that goes on behind the scenes. I know a lot of people think it's one big happy family. And I try for that because I learn from my colleagues. I'm sure they learn from me because they've told me so. But I learn from my colleagues, and I want them to be colleagues. That's the whole point. Is that even if I have a bad taste in my mouth with something that one of my colleagues has done. That doesn't mean I have it that bad that I'm not going to give them love and say, hey, let me let me ask you a question about this, because the truth is we are the vanguard, right? And if there's trouble amongst the vanguard, nothing's going to get said, nothing's going to get done. And I know people think that's great for drama and it's great for, push me, pull you. But always remember the push me, pull you. One of them had to admit which one was the asshole. And I think that's the whole point with the push me, pull you, is that somebody's an asshole. So I think we all need to understand that, we're in this together, and we can have different points of view, and we can have different ideas getting to the same place. It's not a religion, it's a phenomenon. And it's not an excuse to replace your spirituality either. That's what the bad guys want you to do. You need to just keep your discernment and realize that all of us that put in that time and that effort to inform you, we do it because we find it fascinating. We want you to join in the fun, but you also remember too that we're working hard, and that sometimes you overwork yourself. I'm a perfect example of that right now. What?
Let me jump in on that,
Yeah.
if I may, Clyde.
Yeah.
How many phone calls that lasted for hours that you and I have had?
Yeah.
Some of it always between friends. Some of it is about the industry.
Yeah.
Some of it is about service to the community and how to cover these subjects. Sometimes it's about personalities.
Yeah.
A lot of those conversations between you and I were just about life,
Right.
and how to move forward. And people don't know that about not only you and I, but other media personalities here in a broad sense. We actually do get along. The infighting is created by the community, the drama, but they're not a part of our conversations. They don't know what goes on behind the scenes. And you and I have always presented to everybody. Look, how many times have you and I done shows where the first thing that you and I say to the audience is, "No, man, we're friends."
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
How
And we
many
may not agree
times?
on everything. I remember that night. You remember that night we were at Contact, and you said, what did you say? You said something. Clyde Lewis and I have been friends for a long period of time. It's really good to have him with me. I says, ladies and gentlemen, I want to tell you, Jimmy Church is lying to you. We're not friends. We hate each other's guts. And now let's party.
I remember
Everybody
one time.
laughed. I
remember
it's like
that.
hilarious just to see what people thought. No, we're not friends. No.
I remember this is again, this is many years ago. Clyde and I have done countless conferences together and radio things over the years. But one year I pulled Clyde up on stage, and while Clyde is walking to the stage, I say to the audience, I know what Clyde thinks every single day. Ron Patton comes to him and says, you need to get a voice like Jimmy's. We got to figure that out. You remember that? You'll do better, Clyde.
I was on with John B. Wells. I was on Friday night with him, and I was on the night before or a week before. And I was telling him all about how my stepson used to call him Batman. Because every time he was on the radio, he'd go, is that Batman? Because he sounds like, he's got that voice of God too, like you. And it's just funny, because we all have a style, and we all admire that style, and sometimes we steal from each other, and it doesn't matter because we love each other, right, Jimmy?
Right.
No, I'm just kidding. But I mean, it's just the beauty of what we're in the middle of is too far of a wonderful asset to life itself, and the idea of compassion and having heart and nuance, and keep reasserting the idea of hope intervening for the bitterness, I think is important for all of us. We may not agree on everything, but that doesn't mean we have to treat each other like garbage.
Well, that's true. That's true. And here's another key component. And then I'm gonna ask you about David Grush. But before we get to that, right now, it's pretty fun.
Yeah.
We've got disclosure happening. We've got UFO files being dropped. We've got Congress and hearings, and and the media for the first time is on our side. But for how many years, Clyde, where it was you, George, and I against the world, man?
Yeah.
You know, and it was like, you can't do this and have a successful career. You can't talk about conspiracies and UFOs. It's the kiss of death. And no, it's our passion and it's what we want. And here we are now, right? Where we're going through all of this. Does it feel good? Well, it just feels like the community is getting what they deserve. And you and I have been the facilitators of that.
Yeah.
Do you feel any different, or is it just the same for you right now?
I feel vindication in some respects, but in other respects, I don't feel as vindicated. There's a lot of holes that are missing. I think Art Bell being gone is one of those holes. Because I remember before he passed away, I was doing negotiations with him for the second hours, the last 2 hours of my show, giving him those 2 hours so he could have a network affiliate in ABC. And it was hard, you know, because when he died, it's like we were on the phone together. I never really met him, but we were always phone tagging each other. And then, of course, then when you go to Contact in the Desert and you run into people like George, and you realize that George is more than just a talk show host. I mean, he's a singer, he's a dancer, he's a Lebanese porn star. No, I'm just kidding. He's not. He's not. But no, I love him. I just, every time I meet him, you know, he's always open to me. And you are, and I think the whole crew now should be very proud of what they're doing. And very proud of how we've all made it through. A lot of us have made it through. Some haven't been so lucky. We all know that because we've had some tragedies recently. But you know, we move on, and we don't want to stop the story. We got to keep the story going. So that's what we do.
So many that are not with us right now, and the list is long for sure. But just on the short list, if I was just going to bring up a few, of course, Stanton Friedman,
Stanton Friedman.
right? Jim Mars, you know, I mean, and so many, Lloyd Pye.
Yeah.
You know, to have this moment in history is great, but you and I are here because of them, right?
That's right.
And
I hope that people like you, you know, I think you have a younger demo than I do, but not by much. I would say that your younger demo, hopefully, there's somebody to step up to the plate and be like you. I'm hoping that some of my demo, there's somebody out there that can be like me. I welcome it. You know, I right now all I'm doing is legacy. That's all I'm doing. Is, you know, I'm still there. I'm hanging in there after all my health problems. But one of the things I want to remind myself of is that I have legacy to deal with too. I have, you know, and I have people who are counting on me that they have legacy, and we need to maintain their legacies as well. Do everything in part to make sure that, you know, we're not afraid to mention people that we work with, our colleagues. We're not afraid to say, hey, you know, I was reading the other day, Jimmy Church had something you really need to look into. Or did you listen to George the other night? He had this on. There's nothing wrong with mentioning these people on your show, I don't think. Because with podcasting and everything else, we need to find ourselves in a way that we can direct people in locales where they can keep the interest going without having to beg them to be interested. We need to continue to find that childlike curiosity and love and have that just spring forward.
Yeah. The things that George did for me, and Art, because I worked for Art for 2 years too. The things that they did for me, I definitely paying it forward is too much of a pop culture term. But when I see somebody that is doing the right thing, then I will extend and I will talk and I will help. And Christina Gomez is a great example of that. And I caught her on the debrief many years ago, and I reached out to her, and I've been working with her for the last 4 or 5 years.
Who's this again? Christina?
Yeah, Christina Gomez.
Oh yeah, she's amazing. Yeah,
she's amazing.
I met her in Roswell. I met her in Roswell. She's awesome.
Yeah, she's awesome. And she was what's the word that I want to say? Well, she was in college. And I've never met her, by the way, Clyde, in person. We've done hundreds of shows together, but there's something about her curiosity and her drive and her delivery and her professionalism where I can sit back, just like you're saying, and feel comfortable about the future, that, we're in good hands.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Let me ask you about David. Let me ask you about David Grush.
Yeah.
Almost an enigma, right? Almost like
Almost.
Yeah, almost on the edge of that. So what's your take on David right now?
I think at the moment, and it's like any good UFO story, any good UFO hint. I don't know if you've learned this by now, but once the story is told, they get so tired of telling the story over and over again that they find something else to embellish in it.
Mm-hmm.
And I catch that a little bit every once in a while in those situations where, okay, I've been saying this over and over and over and over and over again. It's like when you're, at a rock station and you're playing Pink Floyd, Comfortably Numb 15, 20 times a day, or Leonard Skinner for a weekend. You're like, oh my God, no more, no more, no more. And I think that's what's going on with this group of people that we've heard about. And we've done all of the specials, we've done all of the UFO reports. Now we got to find a new way of telling the story, and sometimes it comes off as being a little less genuine because it muddies the first attempt. So I think keeping the basics is one thing that witnesses and those who are whistleblowers need to stick to, because there are people out there that still don't know who you are. We take for granted that people know who we are just because of what we talk about, but I have people recognize me at Disneyland, or I have people recognize, and other people don't know who I am. So I don't take for granted that when I speak to people about this sort of thing, that the room already knows what I'm talking about. And I think a perfect example of this is the new movie that came out, Disclosure Day. I really don't think people were ready for that movie. And that's why when I went and saw it, I was like, whoa. And then now I'm looking back at it going, I got to go see that again, because there are a lot of things were being mentioned that I just overlooked. And I think the same goes for everyone who's a producer of this type of material, or speaker, or a talk show host, or whatever. They need to understand that sometimes you got to keep playing the hits. And don't worry if you have to go play a deep cut every once in a while. Because Lord knows I've played deep cuts. So have you in your career, Mr. Rockstar. I think that, your career, exactly what I'm talking about. From your rock and roll days to what you're doing now, that in the end, the hits matter. And that's what, and perfect example of that was I saw Jackie Gleason and Nixon in that movie. When I saw that, I smiled. I'm thinking somebody's done their homework, and that's what I like.
Robert Plant was asked, this is in Rolling Stone. I believe it was Rolling Stone. Anyway, journalist says, journalists always trying to give you the gotcha question, right?
Yeah.
So they asked Plant, I said, do you ever get tired of playing rock and roll every night, the song?
Mm-hmm.
And he goes, no, it bought my house. Right? I play that song every night and love it and enjoy it. You don't have to embellish and take things to another level. Sometimes you just got to stick to it and play the hits.
Yeah, I remember when I was doing AC radio, and I just got so fed up with hearing AHA every 15 minutes. Take on Me,
Yeah.
It just got to a point where you were dreaming that, and it was an earworm, and you got tired of it. And I said to the program director, we need to stop playing that damn AHA song because it's just driving people crazy. He says, Clyde, he says, I know you're young in the business, but this is about the time you get tired of hearing it, just about the time listeners really like it. And sure enough, you should never lose sight of wanting to do a show about Betty and Barney Hill, or
Roswell,
or Jackie Gleason, or Roswell,
Yeah.
or
Yep.
Eisenhower, or you name it, you know?
I did a pretty good deep dive in these document dumps.
Yeah.
And one of the things that was there where the public was like, there's nothing here. There's nothing. And I'm reading. I'm like, man, this is golden.
Yeah.
And so what the mistake that I thought that the government made in doing that, I don't want to get off on a tangent here, but there was, without mentioning Roswell, and they haven't done that yet in these document dumps. Roswell's been ignored, but Roswell, as we all know, you and I did Roswell together one year, is that the Roswell Daily Record was on July 8th, 1947.
Right.
Okay. So prior to that, what is there besides Kenneth Arnold? And he had the Rhodes photographs also the same weeks out of Phoenix, July 4th. But the government releases over 200 military reports on UFOs and sightings in 1 week leading up to Roswell.
Yeah.
Now, it's like, wait a minute here. What is actually going on? So you go and you look at that. That's why it is so important, like you say, to go back and talk about the hits. Yep. Let's go in. Let's talk about Roswell. Let's talk about 1947.
I'm a big Maury Island fan. I really love the Maury Island story because of that.
Yeah, yeah.
And if people don't know the Maury Island story, you should read it. There are a lot of people that dismiss it, but you need to remember too, when they denied it under coercion, because the men in black showed up and said, "Don't you dare talk about this, or you'll die. Your family will die." And that happened a week before Kenneth Arnold, because Arnold was going to investigate the Maury Island discs.
He did. He
was
was involved.
Back to Washington and Idaho.
Yeah.
He saw the discs over Mount Rainier. So it was a chain of events that went down. And even somebody tried to sabotage Kenneth Arnold's plane, too. So, I mean, there's some things that a lot of people don't know about these UFO stories that, they just cover them, just to throw a coat of paint on them, and they never get into the details of why they're so important.
Which is why David Grush, for me, is very important, not only for the community today, but we have this huge wave of interest of people that are coming in because of what is happening in the Tic Tac and December of 2017. All right, I applaud that. I love it and I enjoy it. But most that come in have never heard of Roswell, or have never heard of Maury Island, or have never heard of Kenneth Arnold, or the Rhodes photographs, or the green fireballs that were over Los Alamos. They don't know the Kecksburg, for example, Socorro, New Mexico, and Lonnie Zamora. You have to go back and constantly review these hits for other people to go back and do the research, because this isn't a phenomenon that started with the Tic Tac in you know what I mean, and the Nimitz encounter. It did.
I think a lot of people don't realize who was the most open about UFOs, and that was Harry Truman. He'd speak about them all the time, especially with what happened over Washington D.C. That's one of the reasons why they had the Blue Book papers, and they also had allegedly Majestic 12 was during that time period, because Truman was very fascinated with UFOs, and so Truman would be very open about it, called them flying saucers and everything. So yeah,
absolutely. And so with David Grush bringing up, is there a point where we can have Tim Burchett and Luna and Murkowski and members of Congress and David Grush and others talk about we're in possession of craft, we're backwards engineering, we have the pilots, we have the bodies on ice, that we have all of those things. Okay, is there a point where the public is just going to go, okay, you've said this a lot, now we need to go to the next level here? Is it? Are we in danger of the public losing interest if it's just constant talking without any action?
Yeah, I think though that what we're doing right now is we're educating the 1% that don't care. I was listening to an interview today. Can't remember who it was, but they were saying something like you're still skeptical, even though all this is happening. He says I haven't seen it, so I have to believe it when I see it or whatever. And I'm just thinking to myself, there's still those out there that's just hard nosed. You know, there've been so many hoaxes and so many other things that they look at that and they go, they don't want to be a part of that because they don't want to be a fool. They don't. I mean, but that's the problem of working in this type of environment. Is there are a lot of people who hoax or do foolish things or try to create a lot of attention, and some of them get away with it. Some don't, and that's because we do have discretionary minds in the process. And I try to be as discretionary as possible. I don't necessarily open up my show to just anybody who has a claim. I mean, I have a lot to deal with myself every day, and I just think that when people listen to my show, they're just waiting for me to screw up so they can exploit it. But I don't know if you feel the same way that when you make a mistake or when you like maybe have associated with somebody that didn't turn out to be quite what you thought, you have people that just love to write you and say, you were that person who, you're a phony. You're a phony. That's what I think of, like the Family Guy character. You're a phony. And and so I just sit there and I say, you got to break a few eggs, and some of the eggs you break may not be good. And that happens because you're doing an investigation. That's what investigators do. They sometimes get egg on their face because
well, you know what a Chinese philosopher once said. It might have been a Greek philosopher. You can't make an omelet unless you break a few eggs.
Exactly. Yeah. Can't make an omelet unless you break a few. And that's so true. I mean, I've looked back at some of the shows that I've done and thought, what was I thinking when I did that show? But a lot of the stuff, and I'm not kidding people, a lot of stuff I do is speculation. I speculate to the point where I hope I'm right. And I'm sure there are times when I was wrong. But that's not the point of the show. The point of the show is to bring up discussion about these things. And I just have a trouble with talk radio that tends to think that people who are in that field, they are the authority on everything. No, that's what your guests are for. The guests are for that. You're not an authority on anything. You're just a guy who happens to have a good voice. You drank a lot of vodka, smoked a lot of cigars, and that's why you're in the business. It's because you did that. And you have some notes of, UFOs or whatever. But no, I just think that people need to understand that we're all in the same boat. We all study the same things. Some of us have more options and more information that we're access to. But that's why we have everybody in the pies, because everybody contributes and explores and does that. And not everybody will have the same opinion on the matter either. And so that's how you make a round, well-adjusted theory or well-adjusted idea, is by weighing all that into the mix.
Well, it's so important to be wrong, okay? Because you don't learn unless you're wrong about something, right? It's such a strange concept for people to wrap their head around. And case in point, we've got Neil deGrasse Tyson.
Yeah.
Neil deGrasse Tyson, who is now flipped, where for years did nothing but tease and talk smack about UFOs and people and people like you and I. Yeah. And now he has flipped. Well, I'm not upset with Tyson about this. It takes a whole nother set of cojones, Clyde, as you just said, to know when you're wrong and when you can change your mind and then go public about it. Yeah. That's commendable to me. So I applaud Neil. That was tough for, next will be Michael Shermer.
yeah, exactly. Michael Shermer, who I was so sad. I love Michael. I had him on my show one time and he was being attacked. Just everyone attacking him. I thought, Michael, it's best you don't do the show, because I didn't want him to go through that. Because
he's a nice guy too.
Healthy skepticism is perfect. There's nothing wrong with that. But some people get so offended when you point to them that maybe it's not a UFO, maybe it's something else, they get so offended by that. They want to believe it's real before they even believe it's not real. So
Yeah, and when we start to move through this, and I don't know what the next page is as we're turning these pages when it comes to disclosure, but if there is a moment where things are like official, all right, okay, it's going to be a great day for sure. But then we do have the Michael Shermers of the world, the Richard Dawkins of the world. And is it going to be enough for them to go, okay, where they are so data driven, right?
mhm.
It's all black and white in their world, in their atheist world and everything.
Right.
Is that enough to shake some fruit from that tree?
I think there's a lot. How can I put this? Uh, I think less is more in a lot of respects. I think that it'd be easier. I mean, all these people are talking about blue beam and all this stuff, where they'll be able to, create an alien invasion. I don't even think you need that anymore. I really don't. I mean, look, if we found out, you and I, that the aliens are coming in 5 years, we told our audience they were coming in 5 years, then the government comes forward and said, yeah, that's true. They said they would be here back in 1960, whatever, and we're still waiting for them. That's why we're preparing you. I think people would panic with that rather than having them land on the White House lawn. I think it'd be far more panic wondering, well, am I going to live that long? I mean, I'm more frightened of Apophis hitting the planet than I am of aliens right now. So I'm more concerned about 2029 and whether or not when Apophis gets so close to the planet it takes out our satellites. I'm kind of concerned about that more so than alien invasion. So
You know what would freak people out? I want your take on this.
what?
I've thought about this a lot. I don't think aliens are going to freak anybody out anymore. The drip and the media and movies and Hollywood, very effective, very effective. So I don't think that's a shock to the system. You know what would freak people out? That Antarctica starts to melt and Atlantis is underneath that ice.
Right.
And some some million-year-old city is underneath that. That would freak me out, actually. So,
Well, actually, something like that happened in a TV show called Paradise. Atlantis
such
wasn't
a good
involved,
movie.
but what's
Yeah.
that?
So it's such a good series.
Yeah, and remember when they were in Argentina or she was in Chile and you heard that thundering sound coming at them, and I thought that would be the most terrifying thing, knowing that you would be a target within like 2 or 3 days of a major wave because Antarctica sunk into the ocean. And that's what I mean by the idea that if they were to announce like tomorrow that aliens are going to be coming in 5 years, I think that would freak me out more than hearing that they're here already. Because then I'd feel like, well, okay, they're here already. We're used to that. Our lives have not changed, but they've been with us. But just the idea that we're going to have to change, and it's going to be mandatory because in 5 years they're coming, and we have to prepare a place for them here on this planet. That's the scary thing, and that's why just the idea of Atlantis being discovered in Antarctica, and knowing that weeks are away from you getting pummeled by a huge wave because the landmass came up out of the water and then pushed all that water up the coast. Yeah, that's waiting for that moment is the terrifying thing. Waiting for what's going on, waiting for judgment, waiting for all that. I think is far scarier than coming up with the idea that, well, to self-disclose or to at least have God come and disclose or somebody come and disclose for us.
What about the religious side of disclosure? Do you think that the different religions and of the world and the leaders of those religions, whether we're talking about Islam or Buddhism, Hinduism, Catholicism, fundamental Christianity, the Vatican, do they have a speech prepared? What's going to happen with that, or do they have to plan to get out in front of it?
Well,
what do you think the future is?
I used to have this. I don't say it as much as I used to when I was younger and a smart ass. We all had that young and smart ass days when we were like, I'm an alien authority, screw you. I had this thing where I said to myself, if we're such a Christian nation here in the United States, why don't we have a protocol for the second coming? I used to
I'm
say
not.
that.
I'm not going to touch that. That's a
Think about it.
great point. It's a great
Why
point.
don't we have a protocol? Does the president get called? Does the Pope get called?
The
Does the
local
Dalai
police
Lama get
department.
called?
Yeah, the local police.
Yeah,
Do they
do the
have?
police get called?
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
who's gonna call it and say, President Trump, we have something we need to tell you. What's that? Well, there were these bright lights that were flashing over Finland the other night, and they moved all the way down from Finland, and they're now appearing over Russia, and they're over the Kremlin. And Russia's calling and saying that there are these beings that are there, and they want to talk with them. They want to talk with the president. They want to talk with all these people, and we don't know what to do with them. Because we don't have a
Metatron.
second
Yeah,
coming protocol.
Metatron. Yeah, right, right. Metatron is yelling from the skies.
Yeah,
Right.
exactly.
Oh,
We don't have any plans for that. We don't have any. I mean, I haven't heard anybody formally say or do a show about this where if it happens, if the invasion happens, who gets called first? How do we prevent a thermonuclear war from happening? How do we, because remember in that Paradise show, when Antarctica sunk, what happened? They looked at it as a good time to start using nuclear bombs on each other because they just didn't have any other alternative but to bomb each other. I mean, is that what's going to happen with us? We get the word that, the angels are coming or the angels have came, and we thought, oh, good time to start killing each other and bombing each other and committing suicide and feeling like nothing to live for because it's all bizarre. See, that's just it. There is no second coming protocol. There is no alien protocol. And
Did you
that to
see?
me is very interesting.
Did you see the series Good Omens?
Yes.
Okay, they just came out like last month. I don't know if you caught it, but there's a Good Omens movie
Yeah.
that came out. It's season 3, but it's one episode.
Yeah.
Have you seen it yet?
No, I haven't seen it. I know it's out there. I got to look at it.
I almost want to just blow it for you. I don't know. Should I? No, I'm not. Okay. The ending of this part 3, and watch it. It's short. It's like 90 minutes. It's got it all. Is spot on the money. Like if there is like an actual ending that makes sense, it's in the way they did it in Good Omens.
Mhm.
It's really, really well done. Well, here's my Pandora's box, Clyde. Let me throw this out there at you. There's all this chat, Michael Masters and other great researchers and scientists out there that say, hey, just maybe what we are experiencing right now is not ET, it's us from the future. Now, this is nothing new. You and I have talked about this. This is a subject that's been out there, and it's an honest take. Well, here's my Pandora's box with that. What if they go, okay, we're a billion years in the future. We're coming back to talk to you. And check this out. Life sucks. Right? What if they just go, it don't get any better, man. A billion years from now, we got the same crap we're dealing with. Exactly. It's okay to fight for it, but you know what?
Yeah.
It's just shit.
Yeah.
What if that's the message? Not unicorns, right?
Right.
Fixing pollution,
right,
and free energy, or whatever it is. Yeah. What if the message is that? Would that surprise you?
No, because I always thought that when I grew up, there wouldn't be any power lines anywhere. there would everything would be like,
right,
going through the air. We wouldn't have to have power lines. You look around you, there's power lines everywhere. That looks so 20th century. We're in the 21st century. We want electric cars to work, but we can barely get a line from a house to a cable box. That's the kind of stuff that I think about. Just like when I think about the moon landing, it's like, I can't get cell service around the corner. How do they get cell service from a 250,000 mile trip into space? I mean, and people say, "Oh, don't be mean." Well, you got to answer that question. You know, you got to be honest with yourself. You know, bring stuff up like that. Be honest. Otherwise, we're just going to go along thinking that this is it. I mean, look, I worry sometimes though that a lot of people who are in the community that we are in, that we talk in, and everything else, I worry sometimes they have the capacity to be very, very, very naive, and that they think, and hell, I'll say it, Stephen Greer, uh, he has hope on his mind. He has all this on his mind, but does humanity ever have the capacity to hold on to hope and empathy, divisions and misunderstandings? I mean, the only reason why we united at 9/11 wasn't because of the fact that we were all Americans and we united. We had a hate that we had that we united with. We united over a hate that we all had for one group of people. And so, is that something that could happen with the aliens? Maybe. Are the aliens looking here to colonize? Maybe. They have advanced weapons. So, what does that mean? That means takeover. So, to be naive, I think sometimes, especially when it comes to alien intervention, that I think humanity is to basically go back to ancient histories, go back to the Bible, go back to the gods who lead humanity to walk in darkness, but then eventually say, okay, I'm going to give you some help, you know, graciously shows help. You know, what was the last word of the movie, right? I'm not going to give it away, but what was the last word in that movie?
And it was so sudden too.
Yeah.
It
And
was
that's
so
it.
sudden.
Communication.
Yeah,
It's the
yeah,
idea of
yeah.
communication. That wasn't the last word of the movie, by the way, but just the
No,
idea of knowing and being known, seeing and being seen, the difference between being ignored and being talked about, just the things we're talking about now. But that news has already set sail. I mean, you look at the Christian gospel. You look at you look at people saying, "Well, here's something you need to know. God visited us, and God cares about us. God is the one that's going to save us. God died and rose again, and God offers us eternal life." Think of that responsibility. Nobody really, they take it for granted. Well, God saved me. Well, okay, but think of that responsibility for a moment. And then saying, well, looking back at the histories, why was it that these gods acted so mean to the Hebrews and Jesus is such a peaceful God? Well, maybe it's because those gods weren't exactly the gods we thought they were,
right.
and that they were mean and out of control alien gods. And if this doesn't stop us in our tracks, nothing else will. Because it will say, you know what? It's not just the Nephilim. It's not just the Grigori. It's not just the Elohim. It's not just the Anunnaki. There's a whole group of other ones out there that need to be explored. We need to look at scripture and understand what it means to see a chariot or a vehicle that's burning, or to look at the Ophanim, which are these wheels concentric within wheels that have eyes with them. These are the things that, I mean, you go back to the scriptures and it said the the shepherds were in their fields watching their flocks by night, the Christmas story. And what happened when the angels showed up? Those shepherds fell on their faces because they were what? Sore afraid. Why would they be sore afraid of an angel? If an angel is some beautiful, wonderful creature that's anthropomorphic with wings, maybe it's because it doesn't look like anything we think it does.
That's right.
And then we put a costume on it that's palatable, when in reality maybe the angels showed up looking like, I don't know, arachnids. We don't know, because all we have is we have the interpretation from painters like Michelangelo and Da Vinci and everybody else. Now we have the artists of the world that do the X-Files, that do all this stuff, and they're putting another costume on the same story.
All those shepherds would not look.
Nope.
They were averting their eyes.
Yes, they were.
Right? Yeah,
Yeah.
that's and I'll tell you one other thing. When for me, just responding with what you just said, we need to go and take a look at ancient history and just try to learn something for us. That's all. And if you look at Egypt,
Yeah.
3,000 years.
Yeah.
3,000 years. upright. We're only 200 years into the United States right now, right? We're going to celebrate 250 this year. All we got to show for it is McDonald's and Coca-Cola. All right. Sure. There's no legacy here. No. 3,000 years. And you know what Egypt didn't do? The most powerful, advanced country, the first country in the world for 3,000 years. You know what they never did, Clyde?
What's that?
They never invaded and occupied another country.
Right.
They stayed right there. Why? Because they felt that there was no reason. Any other country sucks, right? Nothing is as great as Egypt. But they never did that. They kept to themselves. They invaded and stole gold, but they didn't occupy. They could have had all of Africa. They could have had all of the Middle East. If they chose, they didn't. They stayed right there, and they stayed in their lane for 3,000 years. And they built a culture, and they built psychology and consciousness and religion and law and order and math and engineering, because they kept to themselves.
And look what they erected, though. They erected large homages to their gods, which means that God was with them, and they had no reason to think that God wasn't with them. And that's what gave them the power. Too. I don't need to fight. I don't need to fight with anybody, because my God's with me. Right. I have God on my side, even if I decide I don't want to participate in a war. And that's what's wrong now. We fight to force God on people. It used to be, well, I have God on my side. I don't have to fight any wars because I know where I'm going. I mean, look, we don't have to hope. One of the things that really has me going is the idea that we don't have to hope or wonder at the prospect of how we are not alone in the universe. We already know we're not alone in the universe. You understand that? It's because of God. It's because of Egypt. It's because of the Old Testament. It's because of the Hindus and the Vimanas and all these stories about flying whatevers. God saw fit to reveal these things little by little. And then, of course, if you believe in Jesus, he found a way to dwell among us. So Disclosure Day, if you want to get technical, has already happened. Okay? And it's happened because beings from out there were having communications with beings here. Mm-hmm. Angels, demons, I don't know what else, animals, cherubim, seraphim, ophanim. Just go down the list of all these words that nobody even knows about and what they represented. They represented beings from another dimension, beings from another world. And it even says, in my Father's house are many mansions. Why don't you say, well, in my Father's house there are many dimensions? Because that's what it really means. It's what it means.
Yeah, it's a strong point. And the other thing, the other thing where Egypt had it figured out, where we could learn from, they had polytheism.
Yes.
Many, many, many gods. If you have one God, then it's us or them. You're going to have people fighting. But if you've got polytheism, there's no arguing. You can do whatever you want at any point. There's a God for that, right?
A Christian will hate me for saying this, but I consider myself a Christian. But take a look at the Decalogue. Take a look at the Ten Commandments. I am the Lord thy God. Thou shalt not have any other gods before me. So God right there acknowledges that there are other gods that people worship. You're not going to worship them. You're going to be worshiping me. Otherwise, my wrath is going to be felt. So he acknowledged that there are other gods that people worship and said, nope, that stops here. You're going to worship me. So it's already in the Bible that there were many gods. There's something in the Bible that talks about the Council of Nine. There's a bunch of little things to refer to many beings that were watching over this planet, and that Jehovah was the head dude. The Elohim were the light beings that came down as well. I mean, if you really read your Bible, which a lot of people I don't believe have, it's like there are books. I was reading somewhere, there are books that people claim they have read and they haven't even touched them. One was 1984. The other was the Lord of the Rings, and another one was Brave New World, and of course the Bible. A lot of people say, "Oh, I've read the Bible." No, you're familiar with the Bible. You haven't read the Bible, and familiarity is not a bad thing. It's just that you're only familiar up to the point where you realize that the lion doesn't lay down with the lamb, that's not in the scriptures. I mean, it's a Mandela effect. So I mean, the world is full of surprises, and that
Wasn't
keeps
that an
telling you we're not
album?
alone. What's
Wasn't
that?
that an album by Genesis?
The Lamb Lies on Broadway? Is that what that was?
Yeah, yeah. Clyde, the musical pillar of knowledge. That's pretty good, man. That's impressive. That was such a good album.
That's you and me, the old folk song. Yeah, I remember that band that used to sing that Supertramp. Yeah, Supertramp. Remember
Supertramp. Oh man, nothing stirs the soul like memories. And one of the things, Clyde, as we wrap this up, and just thank you for everything and your contributions to this community and our friendship. But one of the things that when you get to up into the ages that you and I are in, you start to reflect. And I'm very happy where I'm at right now, and my circle of friends and my family and everything. Yeah, all that's great. The career's fine, all of that. That's not what life is about. Life is about friendship and love and being able to look back and have your soul stirred over memories and friendships that have lasted over that lifetime. That's what's important to me now. And you bring that out in me, my friend. Just thank you for that.
Well, I think you've hit it on the head, the nails, all of them you've hit on, but you've missed one.
What's
and
that?
that is comfort. You and I need to be comfortable. Think about it. I know you're working your butt off more than I am now, so I can't say that I'm the hardest working talk show host in the universe. You are. And it's like you have to keep up with George. Is that what you're doing, or what? I mean, George is another hard. You guys are all putting me to shame now, because I used to work harder than who knows how many times more than you guys. Now you're doing TV and you're doing all this stuff, and I'm just thinking, I'm going to be comfortable now that I'm 62 years old. Not going to care. I'm just going to sit back and let the Patronauts take over. I don't care. It's good that it's good that you're all working out there, and I'm going to get back in the swing of things, and then look out. It's going to be Clyde F. and Lewis back in the saddle again. So
yeah, how's Ron doing? By the way, I'm sure he's listening right now.
I don't know if he wants me to say. He's been sick too.
He's older than the both of us. You know
What's
what?
That?
He's older than the both of us.
Yeah, I know.
And here's the thing with Ron, and I hope he's going to laugh with what I'm about to say.
Yeah.
He always looked better than you and I. He never looked older than us. That dude looked like he was 10 years younger than me.
No, he doesn't. I mean, every time people come up and they look at me and they go, "Is that your son?"
Yes.
That's from you, dude. No.
Friggin' Ron.
No, Ron looks good for his age. He really does.
Looks great. He looks
He's
great.
good. Yeah. He's been drinking the baby's blood or something. He's doing really well, though. But he's not doing well as far as his pain is concerned. He's been in a lot of pain. And he's getting ready to take a small trip to a hospital somewhere on some undisclosed location to see if he can get some work done to help him out. He's
what I've been doing? I'm going to share something with you.
Yeah.
I have a friend of mine that has a spa, a really nice spa here in town.
Yeah. Yeah.
Her name is Bree. And I've been going to her for vitamin IV drips.
Oh, okay.
I mean, game changer. I love it. So I've been doing it every 2 weeks. You can do it more frequently than that, but I got to tell you, I walk out of there. It's immediate. It's an IV drip of vitamins, right? Very powerful drip, but immediately your body responds to it. You just feel it. I love it. That's it.
Yeah.
That's it. So if you ever get a chance, vitamin IV drip. Yeah.
Sounds like something I'd be interested in. I like that kind of stuff where I can, put vitamins in my body. And because I do that. I mean, listen, I'm going to tell you right now, the reason why I'm fat has nothing to do with what I eat. Has nothing to do with being sedentary. I go to therapy every day. I do exercise every day. That's the problem that's keeping me in the hospital, to be honest, is the fact that I'm retaining water And like I go from being one weight that's pretty small to a larger weight within 2 weeks. And they're really concerned about that. And that's why they're keeping me here. And I don't know what they're going to do. But when I first had dialysis, they took 21 liters of water out of my body.
Wow.
So, and it's because I had kidney cancer. That's all there is to it.
Right.
I had kidney cancer, and I got little kidneys that are working hard and trying to keep me alive. So I think we need to be happy with the resilience here rather than saying, oh, Clyde doesn't look too healthy because he's fat. No, I'm fine. I just wish I wasn't as fat as I was, but that's all because of the water. It's all because of the distribution, and they're working on that. That's one of the reasons why I'm still stuck here, is they're trying to figure out how to get that water shit off me so I can. Because my food intake here is like really small. I mean, I'm on a diet where, remember they used to say a deck of cards of meat? I get meat the size of a deck of cards. That's all I get. Small scoop of potatoes, and that's my dinner. So I'm not eating a lot, and I'm still a little heavy. But that's what I want to tell people, because I know there are a lot of people that go, he needs to diet or he needs to do something. Yeah, I know what I need to do. It's just the doctors aren't sure about how they want to do it because of my kidney situation. It's the only thing that's holding me up. It's my own kidneys.
Yeah, try that vitamin drip. I mean, your kidneys and your liver will thank you. Well, hey, listen, Clyde, I love you. We love you. And just thank you for taking the time tonight to come on and hang out with me and teach me a few things, my friend. And
I'm glad I was able to find a way to get into this show, because I worked like hell trying to do it. I succeeded. So that's awesome.
I should have recorded our conversation of you trying to get online. Clyde.
And how calm you were. I'm like MacGyver. Boy, I got to pull this red. I'm looking for the red. No, boom.
What did I say? What did I say to you, Clyde? I go, Clyde, do I sound upset? You go, no, you don't. I said, no, man, it's okay.
But I was.
Clyde,
I was like, anyway,
I love you so much, man.
I mean, they should. Too bad we don't have that on tape. That was a funny thing. That really was.
It was great. It was great.
Yeah.
We got to get you back on. We'll do another one from the hospital, and we'll do this again really soon. Okay?
Okay, cool. I'll probably be out, hopefully, by the time I get back. So that'll be good.
We'll simulcast.
That'll be awesome. I love it. Anyway, guys.
Talk to you, Clyde.
Thank you for your prayers. Well. Love you all. Thank you so much.
You're the best, Clyde. Thank you so much, my friend. Clyde Lewis, everybody. There you go. Amazing conversation. And he's doing great. He's been there for 6 months. Wow. Okay, that's going to wrap tonight. Tomorrow night here on Fade to Black, we have Greg Martins with us. He's a NASA engineer and he's great, but he's also jumped in the metaphysical pool. So that is the show tomorrow night. Is going to be amazing. Thank you, Clyde Lewis. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. I'll see all of you tomorrow. Until then, all I've got is go Beckley Tappy. Fade to Black is produced by Hilton J. Palm, Renee Newman, and Michelle Freed. Special thanks to Bill, John, Dex, Jessica, Dennis, and Kevin. Webmaster is Drew the Geek. Music by Doug Aldrich. Intro, Space Boy. Fade to Black is produced by KJCR for the Game Changer Network. This broadcast is owned and copyrighted 2024 by Fade to Black and the Game Changer Network, Inc. It cannot be rebroadcast, downloaded, copied, or used anywhere in the known universe without written permission from Fade to Black or the Game Changer Network. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. Go Beckley Tappy.